issue that goes broader issue. Thank you very much for the time.
That's probably one of the most infuriating things I've seen too. Bill Robertson would have to give you a whole lot of information back on that one. So just strengthening done. So let me just say, one of the things we are, as part of this process, we are bringing in new leadership in Dunn, right? That is something that hopefully will be positive, but we can't, and that's a piece in front of us. The second thing to look at in terms of, the theory is that we were going to bring in additional nonprofit support, right? So that's why we're in a moment of difficulty right now. But what you should look at is that in the conversation about elections, the biggest result of the NCRC was to actually take and contract elections back into the city, away from the independent election administrator. I think there needs to be a robust conversation, where's Dee Dee? A robust conversation about the election process, yes. Right? There is $1.5 million that went from Dunn's budget to the city clerk's budget in the process of taking the elections from the department and bringing it over to city clerk. You should see that money as money that is really neighborhood council funds, yes. Right? That could actually come back and strengthen as we conceptualize what the new department is or the new office is. There are funds out there that could come back in to strengthen the process, and hopefully as our budget improves, because we have reduced 4,000 positions in the city of Los Angeles in the last 12 months. Right? We have made structural changes, not necessarily for the good, but we have made structural changes to the city. Right? Hopefully those structural changes will make additional, prioritization of new resources, allow it to go towards the things that come out of this process as well. So those would be, my answer about how to maybe strengthen whatever it is the support structures are for the neighborhood councils into the future.
Was that 4,000 net loss of jobs, or just people being transferred from one place to another?
Well, it's a combination. So it's 2,400 early retirements, 100% paid for by the existing workforce. It's about 600 people that have transferred from the general funded positions to special funded positions, but they're off of the general fund being the problem we have as a city. And there's about 600 people that have left, right? And there's also 120 people who have been laid off, and there may be X number of people that will be laid off in the future. But quite honestly, there are people moving rapidly elsewhere. So I'd say the layoff number, even though it's officially approved in the budget at about 750, it's probably down to about 320 bodies in positions. But the savings is the same. It's off the general fund, position disappeared, 4,000 in the last 12 months.
But it's only a net of 320, so now we still have 3,680 people still just...
No, I said 2,400 people did early retirement, 100% paid for by the existing workforce. They're gone.
And their positions weren't filled by somebody else.
Their positions are gone, right? There is in addition to that, there is about 600 people who have transferred from the general fund to special funds. There's 600 people that are no longer there. There's 120 that got laid off at mid-year, and then there's X number of people that are going to get laid off July 1 in a bumping process, or start the bumping process July 1.
Larry, you got one more question?
Thank you.
My name is Harvey Goldberg, Tarzana Neighborhood Council, and I'm treasurer. You spent a lot of time this morning, this afternoon, talking about neighborhood councils, but pretty much 90% of it is funding. And when we're talking about funding, we're talking about possibly spending $400,000 to $450,000 a year to process 100 warrants a month.
It's actually $4.5 million.
No. I'm talking about the amount of money that we would have to pay to a nonprofit.
Oh, okay. I see the 10%.
The 10%, roughly. They're rough numbers. And we process 100 warrants a month and look at 91 quarterly reports. I would love, as a professional, to do that business. Something is wrong with the city if they can't put together an organization
I agree.
to do that. Or maybe,
I agree.
or maybe instead of looking at a nonprofit, we should look at a professional organization to do that. But it's said.
It's, yeah, you know, unfortunately I spent too many hours trying to figure out why the hell we can't do that, and it'll eat you alive to sit down.
Management incompetence.
Well, it's actually, I think the other things you have to see is the number of rules that are required by the city attorney, by the controller, by the treasurer's office, the way in which a lot of those relationships are structured across department lines. But again, I don't want to be put in the position of having to defend the Department of Labor and Environment in this process either.
Okay, long meeting. Number one, gentlemen, thank you. Again, number 7. Really thank your son for being, you allow me to drag you here.
Can I make a quick announcement for something, just for transparency's sake? So, you know, the city, we've received several $100 million in American Recovery and Reinvestment Act dollars. I think if you examine your own memories, they would show me one human being, give me a face of one human being that actually got a job as a result of it. You know, there are literally thousands of people throughout the city, throughout the region that have those jobs right now. There are 3,000 people about to get tasked to go through training programs. So 10,000 young people that are going to get jobs this summer. We have a whole lot of nonprofits that are required to provide, you know, services, you know, to the city of Los Angeles. A lot of those dollars are coming out in increased individual benefits and in tax credits to businesses. We're going to be out in the community. We've asked, you know, so we're having both nonprofits, we're having community-based organizations, neighborhood councils, others throughout the city. I just announced real quick, we're going to be in the Valley on next Tuesday, June 8th. We're going to hopefully get it done before the Laker game gets too far underway, 5:30 to 6:30. It's going to be at the church on the way in Van Nuys. On the east side, we're on June 16th at 5:30 at Goodwill Industries. The south side will be at the Constituent Service Center on June 17th at 6 p.m. On the west side, we'll be at June 21st at 6 p.m. In the central area, June 23rd at 7 p.m. We already did our session in Harvard, out of Harvard College. I have here, one of the things we are providing in the, is a list of city services. The list of city services has all the parks are going to be in for Summer Night Lights this summer. It has the senior centers, it has the bridge programs, it has the high growth training programs, it has the work source centers, one source centers, family source centers, it has all of the neighbor stabilization programs, how we're spending $100 million of stimulus funds. It's all in here, so I just wanted to have everybody to have one because it's something that I think would be useful for you to understand how the resources are coming into the community as a leader for your neighborhood council.
Larry, which location on Church of the Way? There's two locations.
14,800.
The one on Van
Sherman Way,
Nuys.
yes.
Yes, thank you.
I want to warn you, gentlemen, that this may not be the first time for you.
Yeah, I know.
Because we really want this to go on the road. We really do. Hopefully, we got a good start. And hey, thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for looking at that.
We're going to take a 5-minute break, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, conceptually, we're talking about that.
Wow, Frank.
No one is looking right now.
Thank you.
How are you? Yeah, right? Yeah, hopefully it will stick in people's minds. Let's see. Do you have a minute? Yeah. It's already rough. Did you get me one? What? Did you get me one?